Today we've got Amy Schuckman. She suffers from rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, hypothyroidism, type 2 diabetes, and polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Mm.
There's a lot of stuff there. So we're going to talk with her just a little bit about her different conditions. But I want to start off with take us back to the beginning. And when did you first realize that your health was becoming something serious and life changing?
Well, I've struggled with polycystic ovarian syndrome for a while, for several years, and they always told me that it's a symptom of having PCOS is also being insulin resistant, which can turn into type 2 diabetes. And I come from my dad was a type 1 diabetic. He was a juvenile diabetic. Um, And back at the end of 2022, I was really busy working and involved in theater because that's one of my favorite things to do is to sing and be involved in theater productions. And we were doing one here in our local community. And I guess I was so busy and I didn't realize that I was getting sicker than I had ever been before. And what I thought at the end of December that year, what I thought was just the flu ended up being what's called diabetic ketoacidosis, DKA, where your sugar goes way too high and it sends your body into survival mode. Um, and my body was shutting down. My organs were trying to pull everything, to survive. And so I ended up in the ICU, and that was the lowest point when everything just kind of hit. And then everything spiraled after that. The RA came about, the fibromyalgia, and everything just came after that point.
I see. So, what was the process like trying to get diagnosed with all of these conditions?
Um, of course, diabetes is a lot easier to diagnose as far as, them just checking your sugar and being able to see that there's something wrong. And with me going into DKA, they could see it in my blood and see that all these things were happening. I actually had gotten better after I got out of ICU and got home and was controlling my diabetes and everything a lot better. But then something I and I'm thinking that because of the storm that I had in my body with going into having to go to ICU and just everything happening with the diabetes, I think it created a different storm or something that was dormant for a long time. Because later on, a couple of months down the road, I started having a lot of pain, a lot of stomach pain, and the process, of course, is awful. And I know a lot of other people suffering with autoimmune can attest to this, but you're constantly going to the doctor, you're getting blood work, you're getting scans, and the thing about mine is they weren't running the right kind of blood work. And it actually took my PCP, my primary care physician, to say, "Hey, have you ever been tested for autoimmune disorders?" And I said, "No, I don't believe I have. I've had every other test and MRI and CT scan and, everything that you can kind of think of." And they said, "Well, let's send you for that." And so I actually went and tested, and this time they ran a autoimmune panel, and that's what came back as, "Hey, something's wrong," you know. And they send you to a rheumatologist, and they're still trying to diagnose you to see which autoimmune disorder that you have, because so many of them I'm learning are similar um, in their symptoms and everything, and so it's very difficult to get diagnosed and to find the right disorder that you have. And then once you have one, they say that you probably have four more. And it to me, it's like a process of, okay, we found one, now we're gonna have to see if you have more. It's basically process of elimination, and I have learned that there are so many autoimmune diseases out there. It's crazy with how many I'm learning about still in my journey with all of this. So,
Right. So, for people who don't know, autoimmune diseases are when your immune system attacks your own body.
mhm,
And once it starts attacking it one way, it can attack it numerous different ways. So you can end up with like uh, like Amy has rheumatoid arthritis, for instance, is an autoimmune disease. Um, Prurigo nodularis is another autoimmune disease. There's all kinds of ways in which your body's immune system can attack itself. One of the ways that they treat this is with immunosuppressants. The
mhm,
problem with immunosuppressants is that they make you susceptible to infection. So, um, so you had said that that the polycystic ovary syndrome was the first thing to present. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. So once that happened, then that brought on the diabetes, or
yep,
could have been what brought on the diabetes.
mhm,
And then you got diagnosed with the rheumatoid arthritis, and so basically you had a cascade of effects that happened starting with the PCOS, and then
mhm.
it went on from there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I really think that everything was kind of dormant or just not. I don't know how long all of these things were in my body or if they just manifested after, having all these problems. And PCOS came first, and then everything else just kind of, like a domino effect after the fact. And I was actually just diagnosed with fibromyalgia last year, um, by my rheumatologist because they actually did more blood work, and I guess there's not really a test for fibromyalgia, but they have what they call pain points that they use to diagnose that on your body from your head to your toes, and they'll
Okay.
use pain points to do that. So,
And so this is not something that could be explained by the presence of rheumatoid arthritis.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So you used to work in the court system, is that correct?
I did.
Juvenile court, is that right?
I worked as a juvenile case manager, and then I actually went and worked downtown at the criminal justice center here, and worked and processed digital media and evidence and things like that for court is what I
Right.
was doing. Yeah.
Okay. So the health conditions obviously made it so that you were not able to work. What kind of a time frame are we talking about from when you were first diagnosed until you were no longer able to hold a job?
Well, with PCOS, with that being several years ago, I was actually able to work for a while after that. Recently, all of this has transpired within the last, since the end of 2022. I was working at my job, and everything just kind of went from there. I would try to work, and the hardest thing about with RA and everything with the pain and never knowing how you're going to feel on a day-to-day basis, the hardest thing that I had to deal with was the walk, because a walk where I worked downtown, you had to park in a parking garage or you had to park several blocks away. There was no way. Our building did not have an actual parking lot where you could walk right up to the building. Um, and so within the past several years is when I've had a problem with being able to work. I would say about the end of 2022 is when it started. And then the beginning of 2024 um, is when I officially lost my job in
Okay.
that January.
Okay. So did you retire? Was that Were you medically retired from that,
No,
or
well, I was actually let go. I'm trying to get disability because I'm 42. I was not at a retiring age. I've been working since I was 16 years old. And so I'm used to working. And one of the things that bothers me a lot, that I struggle with, that's frustrating, is trying to see if I can find something else that I can do that my body will let me do, or if I just have to try and, stay on disability. And I'm not even approved for disability yet. I'm going through that process.
right?
So
You
it's a
have, you
frustrating
have,
thing. So
but you have documented diagnoses of these conditions,
I do.
so that should help with getting the disability, I would think.
I hope so. Here in Texas, it's I know just from what I hear, getting on disability can be really difficult. I know my dad was, like I said, he was a juvenile diabetic, and he ended up having a lot of issues that stemmed from the diabetes, and it took him a long time to get approved for disability with his health issues. So, and he was in a wheelchair, and you know ended up losing his leg, and had a stroke, and all kinds of problems, and it still took him a little while to get approved. So I'm hoping that it'll happen, but at the same time, like I said, it's kind of a being torn because I still want to work because I'm used to it. I'm just
Right,
used to being
right.
busy.
So has anyone suggested some type of occupational rehab that in such a way so that it finds something that you can do that allows you to continue being productive and making a living?
Um, I haven't. I mean, I've had some doctors that have said to do water therapy, to do very light water therapy, because what I suffer the most with RA is my legs and just the joints and the muscles that hurt so bad. Um, and every day when I wake up, I have to basically just see how that day's going to go. And I haven't had a pain-free day in a long time where something does not hurt. And I've never had my legs hurt so bad, where the muscles hurt so bad, where I can barely stand. My husband usually has to help me stand. And walking, gets tiresome and everything. So I've been told to try therapy in a pool, which I have been in pools and hot tubs and everything, and they're very beneficial. Um, I try to get on the computer and do things. I love to write, and basically that's an outlet for me. So I'm hoping if I can find something to do, even if it's part-time or something that's minimal, that I'll be able to do it. Um, but the fatigue
Right.
and the pain they're very overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So
Um, Take us through a regular, typical day for you.
so basically when I get up in the morning, I basically lay there and see what works or what's going to work. um if what's hurting already before I even get out of bed. Do my legs hurt? Do my arms, everything. And then I try to get up, make breakfast. Usually my husband makes my breakfast. Um, and then I'll try to do light chores around the house, whether that's laundry that I'm working on today, or just basic cleaning. And then a lot of times around mid morning, I have to lay back down, whether it's on the couch or in the bedroom. I'm laying down again because I'm so tired and my body hurts so bad. And then I'll get up and have lunch, and usually I'll lay down again in the afternoon. So basically just whatever my body can allow me to do, I'll try to sit there and fold clothes. I'll clean up, I'll go through things. And if I need to, I'll run errands. Sometimes I can go to the grocery store. It depends on how bad I'm hurting, if I can walk through the grocery store. Sometimes, and this bothers me, but I use a scooter. I don't like to because I like to be able to walk, but sometimes I do. But it makes me feel bad because I would rather somebody that needed it more use it and not me. But then I realize I can't walk through the store unless I have some kind of help, whether it's a cane or, a scooter or something. Um, and then I mean I'll attend events if I can during the day, church if I can, and then usually the evening is trying to relax, make dinner. My husband and I will usually, watch a movie or watch TV together. And then I have my nightly routine of taking all my medication. And then I use topical ointments like biofreeze and mineral ice. And I have to do that every day, every night, and sometimes during the day. But I have this routine at night to try to get comfortable. And, but it's a pretty most of the time it's a boring because I'm used to being busy, busy, busy all these years, and now I'm just kind of stay at
Right.
home, you
Yeah,
know.
I've spoken with a lot of people recently who have fibromyalgia and some with hypothyroidism also. And you have both of those conditions.
Hmm.
And from what they tell me, each of them tell me, um, they have no energy. Their energy is just sapped right out of them early in the day, and
Yeah.
so you really have to prioritize what's most important because you're not going to get to everything that you have planned for your day.
Right, and that is completely true because there's times when I wake up in the morning and I already don't have any energy, and I try to make myself because I know if you sit still long enough or don't move, you're going to hurt anyway, and so I still try to get myself to get up and move, but I've been regularly tired. I've worked a 12-hour day. I've been exhausted. I've worked through theater productions before when I was younger, and even in the last several years where I've been very active and everything. And I used to hike 8 miles a day, things like that. Um, and I've been the normal tired and the normal muscle tired but the depleted energy and the exhaustion, it's so hard to explain because it is
Right.
so incredibly overwhelming to literally be exhausted even if you sleep 8 hours a day, which I don't, but even if you have a good night's sleep, which I have to take medication to even help me to sleep. So
Right.
it's incredible how there's no energy, or you do have to prioritize.
Sure. And you can get tired for no reason at all.
Right.
From what I understand, you can just you can get up one morning and just say, "That's it. I'm done for the day."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can get up and fold a basket of clothes and it wipes me out for the rest of the day. And I know that that sounds crazy to people, but it's just an amazing how our bodies feel with these autoimmune diseases. You can make your bed. You can even I can even take a shower or even just go to the grocery store and I'm done after that. After a 30-minute session of doing something that you think, you're being productive, but then you're done the rest of the day and you can't do anything but rest.
Yeah. Okay. Amy, we're going to take a little break, okay? And
Okay.
and when we come back, we're going to talk some more with Amy Shuckman about um, these various conditions that she has and how she deals with them on a day-to-day basis. Be right back.
Living with a chronic health condition isn't rare, it's the norm. 6 in 10 Americans live with at least one chronic illness, and 4 in 10 live with 2 or more. Living with it. Practical coping strategies for chronic health conditions cuts through the noise with clear, usable guidance. No cliches, no false promises. This book helps you manage daily symptoms, reduce stress, communicate better with doctors and family, and regain a sense of control over your life. If you're tired of just getting by, it's time to learn how to live well with it. Whether you're living with COPD, diabetes, Crohn's disease, sickle cell anemia, or any of the hundreds of other chronic illnesses, chronic illness doesn't belong to just one person. It reshapes an entire household. Living with it recognizes that truth. For patients, it offers practical ways to manage symptoms, protect mental health, and regain a sense of control when life feels dictated by diagnoses and appointments. It speaks plainly, without judgment, and focuses on what actually helps day to day. Living with it. Practical coping strategies for chronic health conditions is available at Amazon. Scan the QR code to learn more.
Okay, we're back. We're talking with Amy Schuckman. We're going to be talking about how these illnesses that she has have affected her life. So, Amy, fatigue and invisible illness can be hard for others to understand. How
Hmm.
would you describe what you experience?
Um, well, from what I experience, unless somebody is really close to you, like my husband sees what I deal with. He still can't see I mean, he can tell if I'm really tired. He can tell if I'm in pain. Um, but it's hard for other people to understand and not label you like, oh, they're lazy or they're just not putting effort into it. I feel, and a lot of people know that I struggle. I have a big village. I have a big support of friends and family and everything. Um, but I know I feel guilty because people can't see what I go through, because it's invisible, and that they can't really comprehend what I'm dealing with. I will feel guilty if if I miss a function, an event that somebody's planned, or if I miss a church service or something because I can't get out of bed. And you lose sometimes, and I have experienced this. I used to go out with friends and used to do all kinds of things, and go out. Like I said, I used to be really busy a lot, and people actually used to call me uh, the adventurer because I would go find things to do and go um, on Google, and I would take 2 3 hour road trips and go find the most secluded, amazing hidden gems out there, and go hike and go walk and go see things, and love being outdoors and everything, and I can't do it. And I don't hear from some people anymore in my life because they're worried that I may not feel well, or they don't know how I'm going to feel, or if I'll be able to do it. And having an invisible exhausting disease is just, it's easier, and this is in no way against anybody fighting, cancer or anything like that. But when you're dealing with an invisible disease that nobody else can see and they can't see on the outside because it's attacking internally, it's just very difficult. I always wonder what people think, and I know I shouldn't care or wonder what people think, but it's hard sometimes. If they look at you and think, well, they're not sick, they're not dealing with what
Right,
they're dealing with. So, and it's like, yes, I am. I wish I could show you, or explain to you, or if you walked a mile in my shoes. But then at the same time, I'm like, my husband tells me all the time, I don't know how you feel, you know how you feel. And he's like, if I could take the pain away, I would. But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to give you what I'm going through. I don't want you to feel this way.
right.
So,
Well, you're lucky in that you have found somebody who
yeah.
is understanding and supportive, and you've only been married for about a year and a half. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, and so he's very supportive of you and helps you to navigate all of these health challenges that you're encountering.
Yeah, I'm very, very blessed to have him because the both of us are in our 40s, and we have We had actually never been married before, and we began dating back in 2021. And we had a lot in common, and both love to attend church. We both love to sing. We both love theater, and then of course he does all his audio visual stuff, and I love to write, and we just would go have day trips and all kinds of things. And then he proposed to me in 2023. And then in 2024 we got married. Well, while we were dating, I had started getting sick and having all kinds of these problems, and he was taking me to the emergency room and sitting up with me, and just as frustrated as I've been trying to figure out what's been going on and the answers that we can get. And he's been amazing. I mean, I don't know if God put us together for such a time as this, but he's just we both love to live life together, and he helps me with everything. I mean, I still try to do for myself, but he's there. And he sits with me a lot. I hate it because he sits with me in the hospital more times than he should, and I have to go to the doctor a lot more and everything. But he's really been a rock through all of this, and I know a lot of people don't have that, and I hate that for them, and I wish that they could have somebody that was understanding and there to support them as well, just as much.
Right. So it makes it tolerable
It
having.
does. It does. I tell him that if he and I were not together, and I was on my own, I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I would be dealing with this very differently, because he is my encourager. He's my support. He's my voice of reason. He's my prayer partner. I mean, I cry on him more than anybody in this world. and he still says, "Oh no, it's okay. You can cry on me anytime you need to." And most people would be like, "All right, enough. That's enough."
Right.
Um, but yeah, he's great. And he's that voice that I need when I feel like I'm losing my mind, which is a lot.
So you say that you do writing and singing and are involved in theater.
Mhm.
Um, how do those creative outlets help you to manage emotionally?
They help very well. I've always written since I was a little girl. I love to write poems. I love to write short stories. And then singing, I always sang in choir growing up in school and everything. And so I would sing in church, grew up singing in church, and then the theater, I've been involved in theater for many, many years too. So it really helps because it gives me something else to focus on than focusing on the pain and focusing on when you're at home and you are trying to stay busy and you're trying to do laundry, or you're trying to do there's a lot of silence per se in the day where thoughts can come into your head, and you feel, you have nothing but worry in your mind, and how am I going to feel, and I wish this would go away and everything. And when I do theater, or when I'm able to sing, like just this last Christmas season, my husband and I were able to participate in a production at a church, and it took a lot out of me, and there were a lot of evenings where I'd end up in tears, but it gave me something to do, and emotionally it really helped me focus and not kind of push the pain away for a little bit, and be able to do something else, and um not have to feel that way, and just even being in a different role, just kind of put myself in a different scene or different perspective for just a little while. and try to grasp that joy and the fun that I was having instead of worrying about and being so much in pain, and just kind of push that to the back burner as much as I could so I could enjoy the time I was having and be able to have fun.
Right, right. Well, you seem to be, given everything, you seem to be fairly upbeat about things. And do you think that that your involvement in the creative outlets, do you think that that has more to do than anything else? That plus your husband having to do with your having an upbeat uh, attitude about things?
I think so, and a lot of it also has to do with my faith. I'm and attending church and everything, and I'm not going to get preachy or anything like that, but it helps a lot too, with the singing and with being involved, in events and with church and with my faith. That really helps. I have my moments where I'm not upbeat or anything, but being able to have that creative outlet and just to be around people that may not understand what I'm going through because they can't see it, but they know that I am dealing with something, and just with for them to just be around me and love me and support me, just it helps a lot as well.
Sure. Well, certainly the combination of having creative outlets such as the theater and the singing, writing, and having a supportive husband, as
Hmm.
well as having um, a supportive church community.
Hmm.
Um, all of those together are probably one of the reasons why I'm sitting here talking to Amy and not sitting here talking to a basket case.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have my moments, and I have my down days. Um, but I always know that somebody out there is praying me through, what I'm going through. And it's amazing because I've even been to church functions with my husband, and somebody who I have not even met has walked up to me and said, "Hey, I'm praying for you. I heard about, that you're dealing with health issues and you're not feeling well, and just to let you know, we're thinking about you and everything." And they're people that have just either heard it through the grapevine of other people, or they might have seen our Facebook, our social media or something. But more than likely they've heard it through the grapevine of other people, because I just have that big village that continues to support. And um I mean, I even had a sweet friend reach out to me yesterday, and because I wasn't feeling well last night, and she's like, "Hey, I have some medicine that you might be able to try," and she brought it by, and it actually helped a great deal with something I was dealing with. Um
Sure.
so yeah, it's having all those uh that support system, I guess, to try to stay upbeat and try to get through each day as best as I can.
Right. So, what do you wish that doctors, uh, friends, and family better understood about living with chronic illness?
Um, I wish that, and this is not saying that my family does this. I know doctors do this. I know it's their job to know about autoimmune and everything, and I know they're still trying to understand autoimmune, but so many doctors are so dismissive, and and I've heard a lot of people say that they just think that you're wanting pain medication and all that kind of things, and that's not the case. I mean, yeah, you want the medication to better make it through the day, but if anything, we wish that there was a cure, but unfortunately, there's not right now. But just understanding, just to have the understanding that we're trying to get through this, we're trying to make the most out of it. We're trying to get better. We're trying to do everything that the doctors, say to do, all the medications that they want us to try that don't help or don't end up helping, or the side effects that make us worse. um, we just want that understanding and that acceptance of saying, we're we're not trying to lie down and take this. We're trying to get better and have a, and have a better quality of life with what we're facing.
Right. And so, looking ahead, what still gives you hope and motivation to keep moving forward?
Um, well, so I try to set goals. I do like I've been saying, I do have my events and I do have singing and my husband and everything. But I try to set goals like here in May we go out of town to Missouri for his for our family reunion, and we go camp, and I go whether no matter how I feel or not, because it's something I look forward to doing.
Where do you go in Missouri?
We go to Cassville, Missouri. We go to Roaring River State Park. And for about a week, we'll go out there in a camper, and they have trout fishing, and the water's just crystal clear. It's peaceful. Um, and you can go feed the fish, you can go fishing, I love it. It's one of my favorite places in the world every year that we go to. And most people come on the weekends, but they come from Missouri, Kansas, Texas, and Oklahoma. And we're
Right.
the farthest that come, I think. But usually there's about 80 to 100 of us that Saturday when we have potlucks and have our meals and stuff. So getting to be around family and getting and it's always my birthday week. So my husband and I celebrate, and we find things to do out there. And the travel's a little hard because it's a 9-hour drive, so sometimes we break up the trip because I have family that live in Arkansas, and we'll kind of break it up. But just having goals and just trying to say, okay, well, I want to get this done, by this time, or I want to, like I'm trying to publish a short story and stuff. And so um I try to set those type of goals. Like I want to try to get this done, or we have an event coming up at church. Okay, so I have that to look forward to. And just to get up every day and just try to have a good day despite and like I said, there's good days and there's bad days, and some days are better than the others. um, but just to have those moments with family, and moments with my niece and nephew, and with just being able to, move forward and try to make memories for as long as I can.
Right. Absolutely. The moving forward, keeping going, uh, make life as livable as you can.
Yep.
Find find moments of joy. Did you have anything else that you would like to tell people about your illnesses and how you deal with them?
What I would just tell people that are fighting RA, fibromyalgia, lupus, chronic, whatever you're going through that has to do with, don't give up. Um, just don't advocate for yourself. I'm still learning how to do that. Advocate for yourself. Don't give up. Hold on um, to your faith if you have it. Hold on to hope. Lean onto your loved ones. If you have that village and you have that support system, even if it's just one or two people, um, just lean on them, and just try to keep moving forward the best you can, and just take my husband tells me to take it day by day, and sometimes it's every minute a day or every few minutes a day. And if that's all you can do, just take it day by day, or take it moment by moment every day. But try to keep making those memories, and try to find a way to keep smiling. I know it's hard to smile through the pain a lot of times, and it's hard to find joy sometimes, but it's there. And you know, I'm always praying for people and that are going through things, and I'm always a shoulder to cry on or a person to reach out to if they needed to. And but don't give up. Don't give up hope, and keep going and keep smiling as much as you can.
Yes, absolutely. Um, so, Amy, we're going to go ahead. We're going to leave it here. And I want to remind everybody out there to please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions for Amy, if you have any questions about any of the conditions that we've discussed here today, please leave comments in the section below, and we will get back with you. And hopefully, if you're suffering and you need some help, we'll be able to get you in touch with the right people. Okay, Amy, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here, and God bless you, and have a good day.
If you're suffering from one or more of the conditions we've discussed today, you can find links in the description for support organizations. If you'd like to be interviewed on the Living With It podcast, please email us at livingwithitpodcast@gmail.com.